With the name of Allah, the most merciful and the most gracious. Dear students, today we will talk about the exercise questions which are on page number 26. As I told you before that you are no more kids and you are grown up now, so you have to elaborate and explicate your questions. And I suggested you that you should cover your answer from 5 to 6 lines, and inshallah you will get good favor in the incoming examination. By more explanation, I don't mean that you should just repeat the sentences, repeat the ideas, but you should just put different kind of ideas which you consider the dominant ideas. So inshallah you will get good favor in the incoming examination. So now coming to the exercise question. So the first question which is asked, that when and where did Quaid-e-Azam deliver his speech? So dear students, when it refers to the time and where it refers to the place. The time, as you know, that it was 11 August 1947, and the place it was Karachi. So here you should not just put these 2 points, because you can write these 2 things in one line. So you should not just write down one line answer, but you have to elaborate it. How you should elaborate that? Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah, he delivered his momentous speech on 11th August 1947, and it was an inaugural session of the Constituent Assembly which was held in Karachi. And he was there in order to pay his cordial thanks to the party leaders as well as the opposition leaders who were gathered there in order to congratulate him for the nomination of the first Governor General of the newborn country Pakistan. So like that हमने ये भी कहा कि इनागुरल सेशन था और वो वहाँ पर इकट्ठा हुई थी किस लिए, क्योंकि वो लोग जो थे क़ायद-ए-आज़म को कंग्रेचुलेट करना चाहते थे, क्योंकि वो पाकिस्तान का पहला गवर्नर जनरल नॉमिनेट होने वाले थे और वो उनके उस कंग्रेचुलेशन का शुक्रिया अदा करने के लिए आए थे. Second question, the 2 functions of the Constituent, what were the 2 functions of the Constituent Assembly? It is a very important question. So dear students, as we talked about it before, that the most important functions of the Constituent Assembly were 2. The first one was to frame a constitution for the future of the Pakistan, and secondly to function as a full and complete sovereign body of the federal legislature. Here if you just write down this answer, so it's enough. First, to frame the constitution for the future of the Pakistan, and secondly to function as a full and complete sovereign body of the federal legislature. Then again, in question number 3, it is separately asked that what was the first function of the Constituent Assembly. So here you have to elaborate it. अब यहाँ पर हमें थोड़ा elaboration से काम लेना होगा, क्योंकि हमारा आंसर जो होगा, अगर हम ये कहेंगे to frame constitution for the future of the Pakistan, so it will cover only 1 or 1.5 line. That is not enough length. So we should write down like this, that the first and the most responsible task of the Constituent Assembly was to frame constitution for the future of the Pakistan. According to Quaid-e-Azam, that we have achieved now a separate country, and we should have a legal comprehensive document for the smoothly running of this country. अब ये कि constitution क्यों चाहिए? Quaid-e-Azam के मुताबिक हमारे पास एक comprehensive, एक लीगल डॉक्यूमेंट होना चाहिए, ताकि उसकी बदौलत, और उसमें क्या होंगे, उसमें रूल्स रेगुलेशन होंगे, उसकी बदौलत अपने मुल्क को स्मूथली चला सकेंगे. तो हम ये कह सकते हैं कि द फर्स्ट एंड द मोस्ट ऑनरस रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ द Constituent Assembly was to frame constitution for the newly born country Pakistan. And according to Quaid-e-Azam, that now we have achieved Pakistan, we have achieved a separate country, so we should have a comprehensive legal document for the smoothly running of this state. फिर बेटा बात करते हैं what was the second function of the Constituent Assembly. दस्तूरसाज असेंबली का दूसरा अहम फंक्शन क्या था? So here we should also just expand our answer. How we can expand? The second function of the Constituent Assembly, according to Quaid-e-Azam, it was to function as a full and complete sovereign body of the federal legislature. According to Quaid-e-Azam, that now it is the time that we should empower this Constituent Assembly so that it can make its decision freely and without any kind of direct or indirect influence. And according to him, that the Constituent Assembly, they should now take strict measures in order to avoid the curse of bribery, nepotism and jobbery from the country. दो बातें ये थी, ये तो कि उसको एक बतौर दस्तूरसाई असम्बली के तौर पर एक खुद मुख्तार और दस्तूरसाई असम्बली के तौर पर काम करना होगा ताकि वो ऐसे फैसले कर सके जिसमें किसी का कोई डायरेक्ट और इनडायरेक्ट इन्फ्लुएंस ना हो, और दूसरी बात ये कि इनके बदौलत उनको इतना पावर दिया जा सके ताकि वो जो बुराइयां है, समाजी बुराइयां जैसे कि ये करप्शन है, रिश्वतखोरी है, नेपोटिज्म है, अक़रबा परवरी है, ताकि इन चीज़ों से हमें छुटकारा हासिल हो। फिर वो बात करते हैं what legacy does Quaid-e-Azam talks in his speech like that. Let me just यहाँ पर है what legacy does Imam Jinnah refer in his speech. अपनी स्पीच में वो किस किस्म की लेगेसी के बारे में बात करते हैं? लेगेसी आई टोल्ड यू, इनहेरिटेंस, जो चीज़ हमको हमारे एंसेस्टर्स या हमारे प्रेडिसेसर या हमारे जो अबाजदाद हैं उनसे हमें जो मिरास मिलती है उसको हम कहते हैं लेगेसी या उसको कहते हैं इनहेरिटेंस. So the legacy that Imam Jinnah refers in his speech was that according to him that we have got two evils from the pre-partition India. One was nepotism and the second was jobbery. And according to him that these social evils, these will never be tolerated in any part of the country. And according to him, if I observed such evils, such curses anywhere in the state of Pakistan, so I will have zero tolerance for it. फिर क़ायद बात करते हैं बेटा क़ायद्स व्यू रिगार्डिंग डिवीजन ऑफ इंडिया, तकसीम इंडिया के बारे में क्या कहते थे, क्यों ये तकसीम हुआ. सो क़ायद रिप्रेजेंटेड हैज़ व्यू रिगार्डिंग डिवीजन ऑफ इंडिया इन अ वेरी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड मैनर. According to him, that Muslim, their religion, their traditions, their rituals were not secured in the United India, and there was no other solution of Indians' constitutional problem except division. And he further says that after this division, the question of the minorities, it cannot be also neglected, whether they belong to one dominion or to another dominion. दो चीज़ों की बात करते हैं वो कि वो क्या था कि इंडिया का जो कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रॉब्लम था उसका कोई दूसरा हल नहीं था माँ सिवाय किसके, माँ सिवाय इस डिवीजन के. एंड ही फर्दर सेज दैट द फ्यूचर जनरेशन विल एंडोर्स दिस वर्डिक्ट, और जो फ्यूचर का जो जनरेशन होगा वो हमारे इस फैसले को उसकी तायद करेगा, उसकी हिमायत करेगा. और वो ये भी कहते हैं कि मिनोरिटीज़ का क्वेश्चंस वो भी हम नेगलेक्ट नहीं कर सकते, चाहे वो एक डोमिनियन से बिलोंग करते हैं या दूसरी डोमिनियन से बिलोंग करते हैं. फिर बेटा वो बात करते हैं अबाउट द मिनोरिटीज़. सो क़ायद-ए-आज़म talks about the minorities in a very explosive and secular manner. But and according to him, now it's the time that we should desist all the inguarities or the grudges between the Muslim and the Hindu communities, and they should work with cooperation just for the development and prosperity of the newborn country Pakistan. And he further says that all the minorities, they will be given their religious, their civic, their political and their due rights in the state of Pakistan. और ये भी कहते हैं कि पाकिस्तान में उनको तमाम मजहबी जो शहरी है और जो सियासी वगैरह हुकूक है उनको ज़रूर दिए जाएंगे. Next question, it talks about the freedom of Imam Jinnah that envisioned for the people of Pakistan. किस किस्म का फ्रीडम वो जो है पाकिस्तान के लोगों के लिए क़ायद-ए-आज़म जो है वो सोचते हैं या क़ायद-ए-आज़म उसका तस्वुर करते हैं. तो इसमें हम कह सकते हैं कि द Jinnah envisions such a freedom for the people of Pakistan in general, which is directed towards the well-being of the poor masses in particular. So according to him that now it's the time that all the people should enjoy the freedom in their respective lives, and all the people will be given their due rights, privileges and opportunities in the state of Pakistan. And he further says that all the communities, they are free to just propagate their religious practices, to perform their rituals, their traditions in the state of Pakistan. No one can prevent them from performing their ceremonies and their customs and their traditions. So these were the questions and the dominant ideas that we discussed in these questions. So I hope that you understand, and further if you have any doubt, so then you can ask me in my WhatsApp, and it's enough for today, and inshallah further things we will discuss in the next lecture. Thank you very much.